My brother, 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 Shama, 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 Shama. Just want to check it out. Shama. Alright, that's good. Shama. Oh, that's so good. Okay. Shama, Shama. Yo. Mm. Alright. Let's get it. Let's get it. Noi, 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 noi. Alright. Alright, that's good. Like, why do I always do this? I always start streaming when I'm, like, hungry.
All right, welcome to another Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be taking a look at live streaming. Specifically, you want to know how to build and brand a successful live stream geeks, vidIQ, and CPAWS Music. Lots of great advice from experts on YouTube on how to make your streaming efforts more impactful. So essentially, the big question is, how can you effectively grow your audience? How can you increase engagement? And how can you establish a recognizable brand in the live streaming space? And of course, how can you do all of that without getting totally overwhelmed by all the information out there?
Yeah, it's super easy to get overwhelmed. There's a lot to consider.
Definitely. So we'll unpack actionable tips and insights from these creators, and maybe, just maybe, we'll come out on the other side feeling a little bit less like we're drowning in a sea of advice. All right, so first off, let's tackle something that I think is on every streamer's mind. How to get those viewers chatting.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Right. Stream Scheme actually surveyed over 4,000 Twitch users and came back with some really interesting data. One of the most striking findings is that if a brand new viewer types even a single message in your chat, they have 50 times more likely to return. 50 times. That's not just a little nudge in the right direction. That's a huge difference. Why do you think that initial interaction is so powerful?
Well, I think it really speaks to the importance of making a good first impression. You have this really critical window of opportunity when someone new comes into your stream. And that first interaction, that moment where they decide to type something, it's like a signal that they're open to connecting, to becoming part of the community. So yeah, making them feel welcome, acknowledged, it's crucial. It can really set the stage for a lasting relationship.
Absolutely. And speaking of creating a welcoming environment, Stream Scheme also points out something interesting. Having active chatters already in place can actually encourage new viewers to engage more. How does that work?
It's a bit like that feeling when you walk into a party, right? If it's just you and the host standing there awkwardly, it can feel a little intimidating. But if you walk in and there's already a group of people chatting and laughing, it immediately feels more inviting, like it's okay to join in. So having a few active chatters, even if it's just friends in the beginning, can really create that sense of energy and make it easier for new viewers to jump in and feel comfortable participating.
Yeah, it's kind of like that social proof thing, right? Like, oh, other people are talking here, so it must be okay for me to talk to.
Exactly.
So they even suggest asking friends to hang out in your chat, especially when you're first starting out or if you're going through a lull. It's like, prime the pump a little bit, get the conversation flowing. But there's a caveat to this, right? The conversation needs to be welcoming to newcomers.
Oh, absolutely. If it's all inside jokes and super specific references that a newcomer wouldn't understand, it's going to have the opposite effect. They'll feel left out, like they're crashing a private party. You want to make sure the conversation is inclusive, that anyone can join in and feel like they belong.
Totally agree. Make it easy for them to contribute, to feel like part of the group. And on a similar note, Stream Scheme had a bit of a warning about Discord calls while you're streaming.
Right, because while Discord is great for connecting with friends and other streamers, if you're too engrossed in a Discord call during your stream, it can actually take away from your attention on the live chat. And we know how crucial that chat interaction is, especially for new viewers. They want to feel like they're being heard, that their comments matter.
Yeah, you don't want them feeling like they're talking to a wall, right?
Exactly. So even if you're hanging out on Discord, make sure you're still actively engaging with your chat, acknowledging those messages, and making everyone feel included.
Now let's talk bots. Stream Scheme spent some time talking about how to leverage the power of bots for engagement.
Oh yeah, bots can be super helpful. They can take care of a lot of those little things that can really add up in terms of keeping your chat lively and engaged.
Like what kinds of things?
Well, Stream Scheme really likes Stream Elements. It's a pretty versatile platform. For example, you can set up timers with Stream Elements so that it automatically posts helpful reminders in the chat, like reminding people to follow your channel, explaining how to use certain chat commands, that sort of thing.
That's smart. It's like having a little helper keeping things ticking over while you focus on the content and interacting with viewers.
Exactly. And speaking of commands, those can be a super engaging tool too. You can set up loyalty point systems where viewers earn points for participating in the chat, lurking, following, all sorts of things. And then they can use those points to play fun little chat-based games.
Oh, like what?
They give a couple of cool examples. There's .gamble, where viewers can wager their points and see if they win or lose. And then there's .heist, which is really neat because it encourages collaboration. Viewers team up to try and pull off a virtual heist, and it can lead to some really fun and chaotic moments in the chat.
I love that. It's like turning your chat into a mini game itself.
Yeah, it's all about creating those moments of shared experience, giving people a reason to get involved and interact with each other.
Now, they also mentioned some simpler, more lighthearted commands like .iq and base4. What are those all about?
Those are just fun little commands that can inject some humor into the chat. Like .iq will generate a random IQ score, and base will give you a random number. People will often use them to playfully tease each other, and it just adds a little bit of silliness and fun to the mix.
I can see how that would be a good icebreaker for new viewers, too.
Yeah.
A low-pressure way to try out a command and get a laugh.
Absolutely. And another really useful command they highlight is what up. Basically, it gives new viewers a quick rundown of what's happening on the stream, like what game you're playing, what your goals are for the stream, that kind of thing. It's a great way to help them get oriented and feel like they're in the loop.
That's brilliant. It's like a quick FAQ right there in the chat. Super helpful. Now, how do you actually let people know about these awesome commands so they use them?
Stream Scheme suggests a couple of things. One is to include your most important commands in your stream title. That way, they're always visible at the top of the chat for everyone to see. The other is to just have your existing active chatters use them frequently. Often, when one person uses a command, it piques the curiosity of others, and they'll want to try it out too.
Okay, so lead by example and make those commands super visible. Good stuff. Now, this next point might seem ridiculously obvious, but Stream Scheme brings it up for a reason. Actually respond to your chat messages.
You'd be surprised how many streamers, especially smaller ones, just don't consistently interact with their chat. It's like they're so focused on the game or whatever they're doing that they forget that there are actual humans on the other side of the screen trying to connect with them.
It's so easy to get caught up in your own thing, but you can't forget about the community aspect of it all.
Exactly. Stream Scheme shared some stories about going into smaller streams, saying hello in the chat, and being met with total silence. And it's discouraging, right? It makes you feel like you're not really welcome, like your presence doesn't matter.
Yeah, it feels like you're talking into the void. And it makes you less likely to want to interact in the future.
Exactly. So even if you're in the middle of an intense moment in a game or something, take those few seconds to acknowledge your chat. Thank people for their comments, answer their questions. Even just a simple, hey, what's up, can make a huge difference.
And thankfully, Twitch has made it a little easier to spot those new viewers with their first-time chatter highlights feature.
Yeah, that's a really handy tool. It helps you quickly identify those newcomers so you can give them a proper welcome and make them feel special.
And speaking of making new viewers feel special, Stream Scheme also shared some clever ways to engage them using channel points, which are available to Twitch affiliates.
Oh yeah, channel points are great for this. They suggest setting up custom rewards specifically for new chatters. So things like, hi, I'm new here, or hi, I'm a lurker.
Hey guys,
these are low-pressure
I'm
ways
a
for new
new
viewers to announce
streamer.
themselves and get a shout-out from the streamer.
I love that. It takes the pressure off them to come up with some witty comment right off the bat. They can just click a button and get acknowledged.
Exactly. And they also had this fun idea for a first redeem that can only be used at the very start of the stream. It taps into that internet tradition of wanting to be the first to comment on something.
I can totally see that working. It adds a little bit of competition and encourages people to be there right when the stream goes live. Now let's talk about how to actually spark conversations in your chat beyond just those initial greetings.
How?
Stream Scheme is a big proponent of asking open-ended questions.
Open-ended questions are so much better than those yes or no questions that can just kill the conversation.
Give us an example.
Sure. So instead of asking, did you like the game, which just invites a simple yes or no, you could ask, what was your favorite moment in the game and why?
Oh, I see. That encourages people to actually share their thoughts and experiences, leading to a much richer conversation.
Exactly. And you can even incorporate these kinds of questions into your stream titles. Like instead of something generic like chill vibes, you could ask a question related to the game you're playing, or even just a fun, relatable question that anyone can answer.
So instead of chill vibes, it's what's your favorite pizza topping?
Exactly, something like that. And then once someone responds, you can use the yes and technique to keep the conversation going. It's a trick from improv comedy where you build on what someone has said, adding your own thoughts and experiences to create a back and forth dialogue.
I like that. It's a collaborative way to build a conversation and make people feel like their contributions are valued. Now let's talk about content for a minute. Stream Scheme specifically mentioned the role of just chatting segments in boosting chat activity.
Yeah, just chatting is great for this because the whole point is to interact with your viewers. So naturally, you're going to see more chat activity during those segments compared to when you're focused on gameplay.
So if you see a dip in chat activity when you think from just chatting to playing a game, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right, it's just a natural shift in focus. But that being said, there are definitely games that lend themselves to more chat interaction than others.
Like what?
Well, games where you can involve the viewers in some way, like letting them name characters or make decisions that impact the gameplay. Stream Scheme also mentioned games like Words on Stream and Gartic Phone, which are specifically designed for multiplayer interaction.
Oh yeah, those are fun. And what about just chatting content itself? Any suggestions for keeping those segments engaging?
Stream Scheme had a few cool ideas. They suggest creating tier lists based on viewers' suggestions, hosting bracket-style battles between different games or characters, and even doing online quizzes together like Google Feud. Anything that gets people talking and debating.
I can see how it'll be a hit with the chat. They create a sense of shared experience and friendly competition. Now, let's move on to something that's a little less tangible but super important. Building a strong community culture.
Yeah, community is
That's
everything.
what I'm
It's what makes
interested
people feel connected and invested in your stream.
So how do you cultivate that? Can you just force it to happen?
Unfortunately, no. You can't just manufacture a genuine community culture. It has to grow organically. But you can definitely nurture it. Well, first and foremost, be present and engaged with your chat. Respond to messages, ask questions, participate in the conversations. If your viewers start developing inside jokes or using certain phrases or emotes, join in. Let them know you're paying attention and that you appreciate their contributions. And most importantly, create an environment where everyone feels welcome and included, especially new viewers.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sense of belonging is so crucial. It's what makes people want to stick around and become part of something bigger. Now, after all this talk about boosting chat activity, Stream Scheme also had an important warning about over-focusing on it.
Especially for smaller streamers, it's easy to get caught up in the numbers and feel like you're failing if your chat isn't super active all the time. But the truth is, a quiet chat doesn't necessarily mean your content is bad.
People just like to lurk and enjoy the stream without actively typing.
Exactly. And trying to force chat interaction can actually have the opposite effect. People will feel pressured and might even end up leaving.
Yeah, no one
like-
wants to feel like they're being put on the spot. So focus on creating good content, and the chat activity will often follow naturally.
And remember, as you grow and your audience gets bigger, your focus might naturally shift from trying to engage every individual chatter to creating content that appeals to the larger collective. It's a different kind of interaction.
That's an interesting point. It's like you're still connecting with your audience, but on a different level.
Right. And also, don't forget about the potential trade-off between live chat engagement and creating other types of content, like YouTube videos. Spending all your energy on live chat might take away from the time you could be investing in content that could reach a much wider audience.
Okay, so let's shift gears now and talk about another crucial aspect of streaming success. Building a strong brand. Stream Geeks had a lot to say about this.
Branding is super important. It's what helps you stand out from the crowd and create a memorable experience for your viewers.
So what are some of the key elements of building a strong brand for your stream?
Well, Stream Geeks highlights the importance of having a consistent look and feel across all your platforms. This includes things like your color palette, your fonts, your logo, your stream, overlays all those visual elements that people will associate with your stream.
So basically, making sure everything looks cohesive and professional.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also about crafting a clear message that defines what your stream is all about. What kind of experience can viewers expect when they tune in? What makes you unique?
So defining your niche and what you bring to the table.
Right. And they gave some great examples of streamers who have done this really well, like Nadeshot and Ninja. Their branding is instantly recognizable across all their platforms.
Yeah, you know exactly what you're going to get when you see their content. Now, creating all these visual assets can be a bit daunting, especially if you don't have a design background.
Stream Geeks actually had some really helpful advice for this. They acknowledged that the traditional way of doing things using professional software like Adobe After Effects and Photoshop can be pretty intimidating for beginners.
Yeah, those programs have a
fucking
steep learning curve.
bastard.
So they recommended a tool called playseat.net, which is much more user-friendly. It has tons of pre-made templates for logos, intros, overlays, all that good stuff.
And you can customize them to fit your brand?
Exactly. You can change the colors, fonts, images, all that. And they even offer free trials, so you can test it out before committing.
That's awesome. So even if you're not a design whiz, you can still create professional-looking branding for your stream. Now, beyond the visuals, Stream Geeks also talked about the importance of your on-camera style.
Yeah, how you present yourself on camera is a big part of your brand, too. Things like your webcam quality, your lighting, your background, all those things contribute to the overall impression you make on viewers.
How you interact with the chat, your energy levels, your personality, it all plays a role.
Absolutely. And they emphasize that branding is an ongoing process. It's not something you just set up once and forget about. As your stream evolves and your audience grows, your brand might need to evolve too.
It's all about staying relevant and authentic to who you are as a streamer. Okay, let's shift our focus now to the future of streaming. vidIQ had a fantastic interview with Nutty, a full-time streamer and content creator with over a decade of experience.
Nutty's been in the game for a while, and he's got some really interesting insights into what streaming might look like in 2025.
Yeah, he's seen a lot of changes over the years. So tell us, how did Nutty get started in the streaming world?
He actually started out in the speedrunning community. Live streaming was a natural way for him to connect with other speedrunners and share his passion. Interestingly, when he first started streaming, his main focus was on the technical aspects of the production.
Like making sure the audio and video quality were good, that sort of thing.
Exactly. He wanted everything to look and sound professional. And then, during the COVID-19 pandemic, he saw a huge surge in interest in his tutorials on how to set up and optimize streams.
People were stuck at home looking for new hobbies and ways to connect.
Right, and he shared a great example of a tutorial that really took off. One that explained how to use the audio tool Voice Meter, which can be pretty complicated for beginners.
So he found a need and filled it, and that really helped him grow his audience.
Absolutely, and he's still a big believer in the power of providing value to your viewers. Whether it's entertainment, education, or just a sense of community, give people a reason to watch and keep coming back.
That's solid advice for any streamer, regardless of what year it is. Now, Nutty also recommended some specific software tools that he thinks will be essential for streamers in 2025.
He's a big fan of Streamer.bot. He describes it as a super versatile tool that can automate a lot of different aspects of your stream, from managing chat commands to switching scenes to playing sound effects.
It's like having a virtual assistant for your stream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he even gave a fun example of how his viewers can use a chat command to trigger a live feed of his cat in his studio.
Haha, that's amazing. It's all about those little touches that make your stream unique and engaging.
Right. And beyond the fun stuff, Streamer.bot can also help you with things like moderation and displaying real-time information on your stream. It frees you up to focus on what matters most, connecting with your viewers.
Okay, so StreamerBot definitely sounds like something worth checking out. Now let's talk about the money stuff. Beyond the traditional methods like subscriptions and ads, what other ways does Nutty recommend for streamers to generate revenue?
He actually said that his primary source of income is Patreon. It allows his most dedicated viewers to support him directly, and in return, he provides them with exclusive content and perks.
So it's like a membership program for your most loyal fans.
Exactly. And he also uses a freemium model with some of his tools and resources, where some are free and others require payment. Plus, he also secures sponsorships from brands that align with his content.
So it's all about diversifying your income streams and not relying on just one platform or one method.
Right. It's about building a sustainable business model for your streaming career.
Makes sense. Now, for someone just starting out in streaming in 2025, what platform strategy does Nutty recommend?
His advice was actually pretty straightforward and aligns with what's been working for a while now. He recommends focusing on YouTube for your longer-form video content and Twitch for your live streams.
So that classic combo is still relevant in 2025.
He thinks so. He acknowledges that discoverability on Twitch can be tough for new streamers, but he sees YouTube as a great way to drive traffic to your Twitch channel.
It's like using YouTube as a marketing tool for your Twitch streams.
Exactly. You can create engaging content on YouTube that showcases your personality and your stream, and then direct people to your Twitch channel to watch you live.
Now, what about multi-streaming, where you stream to multiple platforms simultaneously? Is that something Nutty recommends?
He actually thinks the benefits of multi-streaming are often overstated, especially for smaller streamers. While it might seem appealing to reach a wider audience, he's found that most streamers end up with one platform that becomes their primary hub.
Like where the majority of their viewers and engagement are.
Right. For Nutty, it's Twitch. Even though he also streams on YouTube, he mainly uses multi-streaming as a way to let his YouTube viewers know when he's going live on Twitch.
So it's more about cross-promotion than trying to build equally active communities on multiple platforms from the get-go.
Exactly. It's about focusing your energy where it's most effective.
Makes sense. Now, what about the rise of vertical video formats like TikTok and YouTube Shorts? Does Nutty see a significant role for those in a streamer's strategy?
He sees both potential benefits and drawbacks to vertical streaming. One challenge he highlighted is the potential loss of context for viewers who are used to watching traditional horizontal streams. Certain elements might get cut off or be hard to see in the vertical format.
So you have to think about how your content will translate to that different aspect ratio.
Exactly. And he's actually adjusted his own stream layouts specifically for vertical viewing, and even offers templates to his community to help them set up their vertical streams effectively. He also drew an interesting parallel between vertical and horizontal content on YouTube, saying that what works well on YouTube Shorts might be very different from what works well on regular YouTube videos.
Like, they're almost different platforms entirely, even though they're both on YouTube.
Right. He brought up the example of NPC streamers on TikTok, which is a trend where people essentially act like non-player characters in video games, responding to viewers' commands with repetitive phrases. That kind of content thrives on TikTok, but wouldn't necessarily work on Twitch or YouTube.
So it's not just about repurposing your existing content, it's about creating content specifically for those vertical platforms.
Exactly. And Nutty stresses the importance of having a solid foundation of long-form content on YouTube, with short-form content acting as a supplement.
It's like the long-form content establishes your brand and your expertise, while the short-form content helps you reach a wider audience and drive traffic back to your main channels. Now, for a new streamer trying to find their niche and stand out in 2025, what does Nutty say is the most crucial piece of advice he could offer?
He's a big believer in the importance of developing your skills as a storyteller. He thinks this is crucial for all types of content creation, whether it's live streaming, YouTube videos, or social media posts.
Storytelling is about more than just talking. It's about crafting a narrative that captures people's attention and keeps them engaged.
Exactly. And he believes that creating well-structured YouTube videos is one of the best ways to learn and practice those storytelling skills. Because with a YouTube video, you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You have to think about the arc of the story you're telling.
So even if your main focus is live streaming, spending time honing your storytelling skills through YouTube can really benefit your overall content creation.
Absolutely. Now, what's another super important step that Nutty recommends for new streamers before they even start creating content?
Tell me.
He says it's absolutely crucial to define and understand your target audience. Who are you making content for? What are their interests? What kind of content are they looking for?
Yeah, you can't create content that resonates if you don't know who you're trying to reach.
Exactly. Knowing your target audience will guide your decisions about what games to play, what topics to talk about, what kind of tone and style to use, all of that.
It's like building a house without a blueprint. You need to know what you're building before you start laying bricks.
Right. And speaking of making mistakes, what does Nutty see as the biggest mistake that new streamers commonly make?
I'm curious. What is it?
He says the worst trap is blindly following advice without really understanding why that advice is being given or whether it's actually applicable to their specific situation.
Like, just because something worked for one streamer doesn't mean it'll work for everyone.
Exactly. He gave the example of creating highlight reels for YouTube. Just because someone says that's a good strategy doesn't mean it'll work for you if your content isn't highlight worthy, or if there isn't an audience out there specifically looking for those types of highlights from your particular game.
It's about thinking critically about the advice you receive and adapting it to your own needs and goals.
Exactly. It's about being strategic, not just blindly following trends.
Makes sense. Now, on a more personal note, what was one of the biggest challenges that Nutty himself faced when he was building his streaming career?
He actually shared that he's quite shy in person and was initially very hesitant to show his face on camera.
That's something a lot of people struggle with, I think.
Yeah, but he eventually decided to overcome his shyness and start showing his face because he realized how much it improves his audience engagement. People connect with faces. They want to see the person behind the voice.
It adds a whole other layer of personality and connection.
Right. And he has some great advice for streamers who are currently struggling with being on camera. He suggests starting gradually, maybe just have a small camera window in the corner of your screen at first, and then slowly increase its size over time as you get more comfortable.
So ease into it. Don't feel like you have to go full screen right away.
Exactly. And he also recommends dedicating short segments of your stream to having a full screen camera view, even if it's just for a few minutes to chat with your viewers. It's a good way to practice and get more comfortable with being seen.
That's a great idea. And speaking of Nutty's setup, he's got quite the impressive studio now.
He does. He showed off his advanced setup, which includes a tracking camera that automatically follows his movements, a teleprompter to help him with his YouTube videos, and multiple dedicated desks for different tasks.
That's goals right there. But he emphasized that he didn't start out with all that. It was a gradual process of growth and improvement over time.
Exactly. It's something to aspire to, but don't feel like you need to have all the bells and whistles right from the start.
Okay, let's wrap things up with one last perspective on getting started in streaming. CPAW's Music has a simple but effective method they call the Keep It Simple Stupid, or KISS method, for starting streaming in 2024.
I love that name. KISS, Keep It Simple Stupid. Straight to the point.
Right. So CPAW's Music starts by pointing out the unfortunately high failure rate of new streamers, which they attribute to a combination of unrealistic expectations and underestimating the amount of work involved.
It's easy to get caught up in the dream of becoming a big streamer, but the reality is, it takes a lot of dedication and effort.
So their KISS method is designed to help new streamers avoid those common pitfalls. And it all boils down to 3 key steps. The first step is stream less and plan more.
This might be counterintuitive at first, but the idea is to focus on quality over quantity. Instead of just streaming for hours on end with no real plan or purpose, spend time developing unique and interesting stream ideas that will actually capture people's attention.
So it's about standing out from the crowd, giving people a reason to choose your stream over the thousands of others out there.
Exactly. They gave a really cool example, playing a popular game like Dark Souls, but with the added challenge of randomizing the game's controls every time you die.
Oh, that's brutal. But it would definitely be entertaining to watch.
Right. It's about adding your own unique twist to things, creating a viewing experience that people can't find anywhere else. And they also emphasize the importance of having a good-looking stream overlay from the start.
First impressions matter, right?
Absolutely. A polished and professional look can make a big difference in attracting and retaining viewers.
Okay, so step 1 is all about planning and quality. What about step 2?
Step 2 is all about choosing where to stream and how to repurpose your content. They highlight the 4 big players in the streaming landscape: Twitch, Kick, YouTube, and TikTok.
And they see each platform as having its own strengths and weaknesses.
Right. They recommend either focusing solely on streaming to Twitch or considering multi-streaming to Kick, YouTube, and maybe even TikTok Live Studio.
But they did mention that Twitch has terms of service regarding multi-streaming, so it's something to be aware of.
Yeah, it's worth doing your research and understanding the rules of each platform.
Now, what's that all-important third step in the KISS method?
Step 3 is all about editing and repurposing your live stream content. They recommend taking your longer streams and editing them down into shorter, more digestible videos for YouTube.
So cutting out the dead air, highlighting the best moments, adding intros and outros, all that good stuff.
Exactly. And they recommend using free editing software like DaVinci Resolve to do this. They also emphasize the importance of creating eye-catching thumbnails and writing compelling titles for your YouTube videos.
It's all about making your content as discoverable as possible, even when you're not live streaming.
Right. And they also advocate for creating short, vertical videos from your streams for platforms like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and even Twitter.
So basically squeezing every last drop of value out of your content.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder.
Okay, let's broaden our perspective now and talk about how some emerging technologies might impact the world of streaming in the coming years. Neil Patel had some really interesting thoughts on getting rich in the new era of AI, and some of his insights are definitely relevant for streamers.
He talked about the rise of AI-powered agents that can automate a ton of different tasks across various industries. Things like resume matching, sales lead scoring, personalized marketing, even finance.
So AI is basically taking over the world.
Well, maybe not quite yet, but it's definitely making its presence known in a lot of different areas. And for streamers, one particularly exciting development, the emergence of AI-powered translation services.
Tell me more about that.
Companies like 11 Labs are developing technology that can translate your content and even your voice into multiple languages in near real time.
Wow, that's game-changing. It could open up your content to a whole new global audience.
Exactly. Imagine being able to connect with viewers who speak different languages, potentially expanding your reach exponentially.
That's incredible. What other AI applications did Neil Patel highlight that could benefit streamers?
He also talked about AI-powered podcast services that can turn your blog articles, social media posts, or even transcripts of your streams into audio podcasts using voice cloning technology. And then there are AI video editing tools like Opus AI that can automatically create short-form clips from your longer videos, perfect for sharing on social media.
So AI can basically help you repurpose your content in all sorts of creative ways.
Exactly. It can save you time and effort and help you reach a wider audience.
Now, beyond all the cool tech stuff, Neil Patel also emphasized a fundamental principle that's crucial for any business, including the business of being a streamer.
So,
The importance of acquiring customers, or in our case, attracting and retaining viewers.
of course, it all comes down to building an audience.
And he stressed the importance of consistently providing value to your audience and building a reputation for delivering results. He drew on his own experiences in the digital marketing world, where he focused on showcasing the positive results he achieved for his clients.
So applying that to streaming, it's about consistently creating content that people find valuable, whether it's entertaining, educational, or just a fun and welcoming community to be a part of.
It's about giving people a reason to invest their time and attention in your stream.
Exactly. It's about building trust and loyalty.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground today, from practical tips for boosting chat engagement to broader strategies for branding, future trends, and even fundamental business principles. Let's wrap things up with a quick summary of some key takeaways.
Sounds good.
The biggest takeaway, the foundation of everything, is to create high-quality, engaging content. Without that, nothing else really matters. Second, use the tools that are available to you.